Coffee processing methods. Ever wondered how the same coffee bean can taste like citrus in one cup and like ripe berries in another? The secret lies in how the bean is processed after harvest. Coffee processing is the silent artist behind every flavor note in your cup, and each method can elevate, or ruin, the final taste. From ancient sun-drying practices to futuristic fermentation chambers, these techniques define the very soul of your coffee. Processing is one of the most crucial stages in the coffee value chain. After cherries are harvested, they must be transformed from fruit to green bean through carefully managed post-harvest methods. These methods not only remove outer layers but also influence the bean's chemistry, ultimately shaping its aroma, acidity, body, and sweetness. Understanding the range of processing techniques, traditional and innovative, unlocks a deeper appreciation of how flavor is crafted. This chapter explores the primary processing methods, the science behind them, innovations, defects, infrastructure, and grading that determine the quality of every cup. Washed, wet, process. The washed or wet process emphasizes clarity and acidity in the final cup. Cherries are first depulped, removing their outer skins. The beans, still coated with sticky mucilage, are then fermented in water tanks for 12 to 72 hours. During this stage, natural microbes break down the mucilage, after which the beans are washed and dried on raised beds or patios. The result is a coffee that reflects its origin's terroir, often showcasing floral or citrusy notes. Washed coffees are especially prized in high-end markets for their clean profiles, but this method demands abundant clean water and precision to avoid off flavors or over-fermentation. Natural, dry, processed. In contrast, the natural or dry process leaves the cherries intact during drying, allowing sugars and flavors from the fruit to seep into the bean. The cherries are sun-dried on patios or raised beds for up to 4 weeks. They are turned regularly to prevent mold or fermentation inconsistencies. Once dried to the ideal moisture level, the fruit is hulled off to release the green bean. This method tends to produce fruity, syrupy, or even fermented notes in the cup. Blueberries, tropical fruits, and red wine are common descriptors. Natural processing is cost-effective and water-saving but highly susceptible to defects if not managed carefully. Honey and pulp. Natural process. The honey process, named for the sticky golden mucilage on the bean, not for any honey added, blends characteristics of washed and natural methods. After depulping, some mucilage is intentionally left on during drying. The amount left determines the color category: yellow, least mucilage; red, moderate, or black honey, most mucilage. Honey-processed coffees strike a balance between clarity and fruitiness, often offering rich sweetness, velvety body, and mild acidity. However, the sticky nature of the mucilage demands constant monitoring and controlled drying to prevent microbial spoilage. Anaerobic fermentation. Anaerobic fermentation introduces a new level of control and complexity. Coffee is fermented in sealed tanks deprived of oxygen, forcing microbial activity into unique metabolic pathways. This creates distinct and sometimes wild flavor profiles. Notes of cinnamon, cherry cola, or tropical punch are common. Time, temperature, and pressure can all be adjusted to influence outcomes. This method, while risky and labor-intensive, is favored by innovative producers seeking to distinguish their lots in specialty markets. When done right, anaerobic fermentation transforms coffee into a signature expression of craft and experimentation. Carbonic maceration. Carbonic maceration borrows techniques from winemaking. Whole coffee cherries are placed in a sealed carbon dioxide-rich environment, allowing fermentation to begin internally, inside the fruit, with minimal oxidation. The process results in intricate flavors with pronounced acidity, silky texture, and floral or bubblegum-like aromas. It's particularly popular in barista competitions for its show-stopping profiles. However, it requires precise environmental control, advanced equipment, and significant training. Poor execution can lead to vinegary or unbalanced results, making it best suited to small-scale, premium microlots. Innovations in coffee processing. The cutting edge of coffee processing now includes a toolkit of modern innovations. Techniques like inoculated fermentation, adding specific yeast or bacteria strains, cryoprocessing, freezing cherries, ultrasonic extraction, and vacuum fermentation are being tested and refined. These innovations aim to increase flavor consistency, reduce environmental impact, and unlock new sensory experiences. Producers experiment with these methods to differentiate their offerings and command premium prices. As coffee evolves into a more crafted beverage akin to wine or whiskey, processing innovation is where tradition meets technology. Post-harvest defects and how they occur. Despite best efforts, defects can emerge if post-harvest handling falters. Common defects include sour beans, from over-fermentation, moldy or musty notes, from improper drying or storage, insect-damaged beans, and over-dried or under-dried beans. These can be introduced at any stage, during fermentation, drying, storage, or milling. Even trace amounts of defects can taint a coffee lot's flavor and market value. Preventing them requires clean facilities, trained workers, and vigilance throughout the chain. Specialty producers often go to great lengths to minimize defects, including triple sorting and handpicking. Drying beds and fermentation tanks. The physical infrastructure of a processing station, drying beds and fermentation tanks, can make or break quality. Raised beds allow for better airflow and controlled drying, while shade nets slow down drying for more even moisture loss. Fermentation tanks vary from traditional concrete vats to modern stainless steel containers with drainage and temperature regulation systems. These tanks allow producers to manipulate fermentation timelines precisely. Well-designed infrastructure supports consistency, minimizes contamination, and enhances the producer's ability to execute advanced techniques. Coffee milling and hulling. Once beans reach optimal moisture levels, they're moved to dry mills where hulling removes the parchment, in washed coffee, or dried fruit, in natural coffee. After hulling, beans may be polished to remove silver skin, although this step is optional. Milling also includes density separation, screen sizing, and pre-export cleaning. Mechanical and optical sorters ensure only well-formed, defect-free beans are bagged. The hulling and milling process must be done gently to avoid cracking or breaking the beans, preserving the cup quality and uniformity expected by roasters. Grading and sorting beans. Final grading is the last quality gate before coffee reaches the roaster. Beans are sorted by size, screen size, density, via air separation, and color, via optical sorters or manual inspection. Grading systems vary by country. For example, Kenya uses A/B grades, while Colombia uses Excelso and Supremo. Higher grades often correlate with better cup scores, although grading is not a substitute for sensory evaluation. Accurate sorting ensures consistency in roasting and taste, making it vital for premium and specialty coffees. Coffee processing is far more than a technical necessity. It's a canvas for creativity, a science of flavor development, and a determinant of a bean's journey from farm to cup. Whether guided by centuries-old tradition or fueled by experimental innovation, processing methods deeply influence the final taste, value, and marketability of coffee. Understanding these methods not only elevates your appreciation as a consumer but also underscores the immense labor, precision, and passion that goes into each bean. From sun-drenched drying beds to carbon dioxide-filled fermentation tanks, the art of processing is what transforms coffee from fruit to flavor masterpiece.